Good morning. Well, we're here in Castlebar Tourist Office and there's a fantastic atmosphere here. We've got the Mayo Genealogy Group and joining me is Dympna. Tell me a little bit, Dympna, about the group and what your role is.
So this will be our 10th anniversary. The group was set up 10 years ago and we hold our meetings in the Museum of Country Life. During COVID it wasn't possible to do so we've been holding them on Zoom. We've been having a Wednesday night chat midweek where we invite our international members that we meet through the Facebook page. So we have two main aims. So one aim is to help as many people by sharing our own experiences, but also to provide a social group for all of us that are interested in genealogy.
You've got quite a group here and it's a busy morning. What do you think the appeal is?
We've been very busy this week. I think even during COVID, people have started to search for their family, and it's all about finding out, like, you don't know who you are until you search your family roots, you know. So there is a great interest in genealogy. It attracts a lot of visitors to the place. So we at home to Mayo, and we've got quite a few American visitors coming to our event that's going to be held this Saturday, as well as joining us in some of our workshops.
Now, you've got a lovely venue here in the Castlebar Tourist Office. When did that all start?
Castlebar Tourist Office has been operating. It's run by the Chamber of Commerce but also by volunteers here in Castlebar, and they have an excellent website there called Visit Castlebar. So Mick Baines, who worked as a volunteer here, invited us. He's supported our group in the past couple of years and he invited us to have our Home to Mayo workshops in the Tourist Office.
And you're very happy here, very settled. It's nice and warm. You've got the coffee shop next door. You're right in the centre of everything. How long did you say you've been coming here?
Well, coming here is just a week for the Home to Mayo week at the moment that we're here. But the volunteers here in the Tourist Office open it for May, for the summer months every year. And it's been great for us because it's very central for anybody that's visiting town. And like as you mentioned, they can go over and have a cup of coffee, So.
Just by way of final comment, Dympna, for anybody who might like to get involved, come and join you, is it easy and where would you normally meet up?
Yeah. Well, if they can't come to the tourist office, we have Gmail, so that's Mayo Genealogy Group at gmail.com. We have a Facebook page with about 10,000 members at the moment, so just Mayo Genealogy Group on Facebook. We're hoping to restart our meetings physically in the Museum of Country Life the second Saturday of every month.
Fantastic. And a website and everything else for people to find out more. Lovely.
Yes.
It's been very nice to talk to you and I wish you continued success for the week that's in it. You've got a great atmosphere. I'd come myself and maybe I mightn't like to know what we'd find out about my background. But anyway, you're going to stay involved.
Yeah. Thanks, Angela, for coming anyway.
You're most welcome. Enjoy. We're going to have a chat with Billy Lyons now, I believe.
That's right. I'm with Mayo Genealogy Group for about 10 years, and we deal with a lot of people coming, especially American and English, because they have the family name and they have the American side of it where they immigrated, but sometimes they don't have the full history of where they come from, and they're delighted to find out the roots. And sometimes we bring them around to where their people lived and they see the old buildings and the farmsteads and all that sort of thing. And it fills a vacuum for the people in America. We have our own Facebook page, and we have a huge following. That I think it's about 10 or 12,000. Maybe the last time I looked it was 13,000. That was a couple of years ago. And they have their own Wednesday night chat as well. It's called the Mayo Genealogy Wednesday Group on Zoom. And there's a lot of English and a lot of local people who come in looking for information and sharing their information as well. Because some of the people that come back here, they have information that we don't have, and...
Excuse me, but I was just thinking to myself, you're involved quite a while. Did you think that it would be so sustainable to be involved in a genealogy group?
Well, the thing about it being sustainable is that I've been at for years on my own, and I knew that from talking to people that there was a need for it, and it has turned out there is a need for it.
People like to know where they came from.
Well, you see, you talk to people around the country and they probably don't know who the grandfather was or where he came from. And the records that are online are unbelievable. Like, even though we started off, the 1901-1911 census only came out there about 15 years ago. But then you had other records that are coming online all the time. Not necessarily genealogy, but historical records that relate to the people of the area. And that means an awful lot too.
For anybody visiting a graveyard, it occurred to me myself as well that we really only tend to remember our grandparents, and if we're lucky we can go back as far as our great-grandparents. So what happened before that in the ancestry, that's where the niche is very strong here for genealogy research, isn't it?
That's right. Well, the thing about it is now, there's another site that has come up in recent years, was the Irish Genealogy site. That was the official birth deaths and records going back to 1864. From that, we'll say, if you look up at the 1911 census, first you start with your mother and father. You find out on the 1911 census who their mother and father was. On the 1901 grandfather, you go into the Irish Genealogy site, then you get the birth certificates and records. You go into the marriage records for your mother and father, if up to 1945, we'll say. 1864 to 1945. But you see, the births are from 1864 to 1914. The 100-year record comes in there because they don't want to divulge tales of people records of people that are alive at the present time. The marriage records from 1864 to 1940. The death records up to 1967 or 68. So you have a huge record of people. Like, you can go back to your great-great-grandfather.
Fascinating.
If you want to follow the record again, you can look up the surnames. All you have to do is go into the Google. Surname will say, what's your surname? Fall. Look up the Fall surname history, and every site dealing with the Fall surname will come up. Now, there'll be some of the sites that will offer you cups and flags with the surname on it. There'll be other sites that will be official history sites, and they will give you detailed information. You haven't found out what your Fall name is in Irish?
I haven't, no. And I'm
too hard to find.
Well, I'm just going to interrupt you for a minute, because what I've realised is there's quite a bit of expertise amongst this group when it comes to how to research your genealogy.
It becomes easy because, you see, when you go on the computer, you can save it on screen, and you don't have to be typing it in every time. And you see, genealogy is the history of the people. The history is the history of the area. So you have genealogy and history going hand in hand. So when you say someone talking about history, you'll say, well, that's far-fetched, But like, when you're talking about genealogy, you're talking about the history of the area.
It sounds to me like it's a mixture of culture, heritage, and love of your own.
Basically, yeah. Because most of the surnames in this country are Irish and go back to a Gaelic root,
I'm going to just leave it there, Billy, but for anybody who wants to... Well, I have to keep remembering to put the mic in front of you if you're going to keep speaking. But no, wait for a minute. I just wanted to ask you, would you mind just reminding people, if they want to get involved, what's the best thing for them to do?
We meet every Saturday once a month in the museum in Turlough. And we're online with the Wednesday Genealogy Group on Zoom. Now, to find out, you go into the Mayo Genealogy site on Facebook, and you can inquire for the Zoom meeting. Also, you can ask questions on the Facebook page. You can also meet them on Zoom on a Wednesday night. So there's no problem. What happens with people is that people come in with a vague idea, and suddenly they're passed on a huge record. And they're overwhelmed, I'm not saying it happens every time, but 90% of the time people walk away with a huge record of their family
that they never expected to.
And the thing about it, it's not a record, it's not just a record, it's a family living record of the area, because we send them to the relations and maybe meet up with them.
Fascinating. It's been a real pleasure speaking to you, Billy. Thank you for your time.
Thanks very much. Thank you.